Hi, I'm Lemmy, this is Painting Buddy, and welcome to Mini Lotr. Today, well, you've seen what I'm gonna paint. I'm gonna paint Mardin. Hello. He's gonna be part of my biggest dwarf army on YouTube that I'm trying to create. So far it's going slow. I have a lot of shit to paint and a lot of shit to buy. Maybe in the description below I'll also show you a list of the dwarf army so far. And yeah, I'm not gonna take your attention away too long from the main part of the video. I just wanna say, yeah, I don't wanna say anything. I just like making an intro. I'm autistic. Hello and welcome back to the desk after that train wreck of an intro. I hope you're all doing well. Let's start painting Mardin. To start off, I started painting his boots dryad bark. I use this brown in a lot of my other dwarf armies, and I like to tie them all together with some colors that I tend to use in all the dwarf armies, so that when they get fielded together they will all look like one giant army, even though they technically have to be two. One Iron Hills and Erebor army, that is a Green Alliance, and one Khazad-dûm army. So after dryad bark, I went to paint his robes in Sons of Horus green. Once again, this is used on all my Khazad-dûm dwarves. It makes the army look like one cohesive army, for the lack of better words. And in my opinion, it's a very nice looking green, and it's something different than what Games Workshop does and did in the past. And I like to be a little bit different. Now for the sleeves on his arm, I use a russ grey. Once again, it's pretty similar to what I have done already. Now I use Liberator Gold to show that he has some wealth. He is not a lowly dwarf. He is a badass as long as he's fighting cave trolls. And he needs to have some bling compared to his compadres, who will be painted in a fairly similar paint scheme, but that's a video for another day. Now I decided to paint his beard stormvermin fur for the simple reason that I want his beard to be grey, but not white grey. I want him to look experienced, but not frail, and if you give someone a white beard they'll look a little bit more frail than experienced and fierce, or at least that's my opinion. So I decided to give him a darker grey color, and later we're gonna do some more with the beard. Now the foe spear, I painted the entire thing leadbelcher as well as the head of his axe he's carrying on his side. Just for the simple reason that all my dwarves, from Khazad-dûm at least, have leadbelcher armor and weapons. Now Worldbearer's red for his gloves, to give it a little bit more of a red leather look that we're gonna achieve later on with the washes. And cadian fleshtone to his face. Don't forget he's wearing a badass eye patch, we're gonna paint that next. But try not to hit it too much with cadian fleshtone, just get real close to it. If you have a base color of black, it will make it a little bit more easy to paint later on. And speaking about black, now I use corvus black for the handle of the axe on his side, and as for the fabric for his eye patch. But since I already had a base coat of black, and if I didn't hit everything with cadian fleshtone before, I can just get away with a small little layer that isn't actually perfect, but nobody will notice, it's our little secret. Now once again dryad bark for his belt and the pouch on his belt. I could have done this earlier in the painting scheme, but I didn't want to be very careful with the gold, because it takes a couple of layers to put liberator gold on a black base coat, and the more layers you have to paint on, the more chances to make a mistake, and then I had to go back to dryad bark either way. So I did this anyway to save time. That's a little lemmy tip for you. Now to my favorite part of any paint scheme, the washes. And I start with a nuln oil wash on pretty much everything that isn't green or brown or red or flesh. So I just paint his armor and foe spear with nuln oil, the rust grey sleeves as well. After which I wait a little and proceed to use kroak green on his cloak underneath his armor. Once that's dry and I had something to drink, I use agrax earthshade on the boots, the belt and also the gloves. It will make it look a little bit more leathery, so that's why we're using agrax earthshade. If you used anything else, it would have looked not right, at least not in my opinion. Of course, a reikland fleshshade for his face. Try not to hit the beard that we just washed with nuln oil. And because this is a hero, I really like to give him a little bit of a highlight around his face, because faces and bases make a great model. And if he's one of your heroes, you need to put a little bit more effort in it. At least that's my opinion. You could just leave him as it is now, but I decided to give it a little highlight of cadian fleshtone on his face, mainly the nose, around his eyes, that sort of thing. So his face will pop a little bit more and people will think you're a better painter than you actually are. At least that's my secret. Now with the beard I highlighted again with stormvermin fur, really focusing on the highest parts of the beard to make it a little bit lighter, because the nuln oil really darkened it down. And while doing this I noticed I didn't paint the little beads or whatever he has in his beard. So I whipped out my warplock bronze and gave it a little layer of that. It will create a nice contrast. Once the beard is a little bit lighter with the highlighting, it will draw your eyes more towards his face and beard, because it's a sudden dark patch around his face. And if you have some little imperfections elsewhere, it will be less noticeable because people will be looking at the face. So all I'm saying is really put some effort into it. And just like that we painted Mardin, and I could not be happier with the results actually. He came out way better than I expected, and he makes me want to paint a lot of old Warden teams if Games Workshop only would deliver them. I have ordered 3 in the past 6 months or so, and recently I got my second pair of old Warden teams. So yeah, that's great. Please Games Workshop, send them. I really want to buy more, but if it takes months and months before I actually get them, it's a little insane, but that's a me problem. Maybe even a you problem, I don't know. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Maybe you learned something, maybe you didn't. Either way, if you watched to the end, you're a legend. I hope to see you in the next one. See ya. Bye.